The first big blow to Tennessee's roster, it's been announced. How big of a blow is this for the University of Tennessee? Keenan Pili, linebacker, he's going to be out for a minute. That and a whole lot more. It's your Thursday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday and welcome into it. This is Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out everydayers. Thanks for making Locked On Vols your first listen each and every day. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network that is your team every single day. Got a busy show coming up. We got Boogie Bentley of Talkin VAWLS. He'll be in for segments 2 and 3. A lot of talk about the Virginia game, what we saw from this Tennessee defense, what we want to see from Tennessee moving forward with Austin Peay in the home opener. That'll be segments 2 and 3. A little Locked On Talkin VAWLS coming up here on a Thursday. But, of course, we're going to open up with the big news. That is Keenan Pili. So that's your rundown here for today, and it's brought to you by this episode. Brought to you partially by Gametime. You can download the Gametime app, create an account, use that promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that is Gametime. All right, so the top story here today, linebacker Keenan Pili. He's out. VolQuest. My job, my cohorts, Austin Price, Brent Hubbs, Grant Ramey, Rob Lewis, Matt Ray, and myself, we are VolQuest. We put it out there about 11:30ish yesterday morning that Keenan Pili, the linebacker, is going to miss multiple weeks with an upper body injury. And I got to be honest with you, I did not hear about this injury or know about this injury until around first of this week, because I didn't catch the injury in real time, and I didn't catch the injury when I went back and watched the game. So I don't know if a lot of you guys maybe saw him, kind of walk off slowly or being attended to on the sideline of the tent, whatever the case was. I didn't notice that. So whenever I got news that he's going to be out and he had an injury, I was kind of surprised. And it's such a shame because, hell, Keenan Pili got the game ball the other day. Keenan Pili, he played really, really well in that football game against Virginia. And it's so unfortunate because he's 25 years old, coming from BYU, went away on a mission trip for a couple years, and then came back, had an ACL, a really good player in 2020, solid player in 2021, then towards ACL, wasn't ever the same in 2022, and Tennessee was hoping that they could get him back to who he was in 2021 prior to the ACL injury, and it looked like for the summer and fall camp, he was playing like an animal, and he was playing maybe even better, and he played really, really well in game number 1 against Virginia, but obviously has suffered this injury, and he's going to be out for multiple weeks. Now, what does multiple weeks mean? With Cooper Mays, he was going to be out a couple of weeks. That was, a month ago back in August. He's still not practiced. I still don't expect him to play in this football game on Saturday. Things can always change, but it always depends on the person. And so, depending on exactly what the injury is, the recovery, all that type of stuff, we'll see what happens. Josh Heupel did comment on this Wednesday morning on the SEC teleconference. He was asked about Keenan Pili. He says, quote, "We weren't sure early in the week the severity of the injury. He will not be available this week. He'll miss a couple of weeks here." Okay? He goes on to say, "I don't believe it's season ending at this point. We'll see how he continues to heal up in the coming days and weeks." So Josh Heupel not offering a whole lot of information. Of course, he is ruling him out for this week, of course, and I got news for you. It's not going to be just a week. It's going to be the week after, and then, who knows? We'll see from there. He's going to be out a minute, and you hope that he can come back and get ready to roll, because there's some big-time games on this schedule, right? You've got the big one November the 18th. It'd be great to have some Keenan Pili linebacker depth for that one against Georgia. Third Saturday in October, you got the game in Kentucky. You've got A&M, South Carolina, the Swamp in a couple weeks that he's going to miss. There's some big games on the schedule, no doubt about it. But Keenan Pili is going to be out for a little bit. And again, it sucks. Like, he honestly had a really, really good game. I'm going to put on my glasses here if you're watching on YouTube because I'm an old man. You look at what he did on Saturday. Keenan Pili, he played 30 snaps. That was about 17 less snaps than Aaron Beasley. And there was a lot of times where it was Aaron Beasley and Elijah Herring, and then it was, I believe it was Keenan Pili and Arion Carter that we're seeing some rotation in the football game. But you saw Aaron Beasley play a lot more than Keenan Pili. But I mean, they were both starting and the game was in hand. But anyway, what I'm saying is he played 30 snaps against Virginia, did Keenan Pili. According to Pro Football Focus, he graded out at 80%, which is super solid. According to Pro Football Focus, he finished with 4 tackles. I don't have the official box score in front of me, but finished with 4 tackles, was targeted once in the passing game, did not give up a reception. I mean, he had a really, really solid game, and so it's unfortunate. He's going to miss some time, but what's this mean? This means now, let me take off my glasses here and get back into talking with you. This means now that Elijah Herring, Arion Carter, it's go time. Spent all offseason, spent all summer, spent majority of fall camp bragging, about how I love the linebacker room, how I love the depth, all that type of stuff. Well, now it's time to see it, okay? You love it. It looks great when you have a healthy Aaron Beasley and a healthy Keenan Pili, 2 veterans who have been in college forever, a 25-year-old and probably a 22-year-old in Aaron Beasley. These are old guys, okay? It feels good. You love that room when you have a 22-year-old and a 25-year-old with loads of experience starting for you. And then you have a promising sophomore now that got his toes wet, got a little experience as a freshman last year in Elijah Herring. You like that option. You love a really stout freshman linebacker, 5-star that you got, that you held on to when Alabama came calling, and you beat out Alabama for an Arion Carter. Arion Carter, who had a nice spring, who had a great fall camp. You love that as a depth piece. You like Jeremiah Thielander, who coaches couldn't stop talking about, who players couldn't stop talking about. One of the most productive linebackers out of the state of Georgia. Not a 5-star, an often forgotten guy, underrated, but had a great fall camp. You like that potential. You like Caleb Perry as well, a sophomore that was a special teamer last year, but is a guy that's a second-year guy in the system, and you like him as depth. You like all those guys as depth when everybody's healthy. But now it's time to go. Keenan Pili is going to be out for a little bit. It's going to be Aaron Beasley and Elijah Herring. You'll be your 2 starters, most likely, but Arion Carter is going to play a whole lot. Jeremiah Thielander and Caleb Perry better be ready to roll. So here we go. You hate it. The season's not over. Life is not over. Hopefully Keenan Pili will be back sooner rather than later, but he's going to miss a couple weeks. How does Tennessee respond? What's this mean for the University of Tennessee? We'll continue to break down this big-time injury news. Upper body injury going to be out multiple weeks, first reported by VolQuest.com on Wednesday morning. Let me know what you think. @_Kane or @LockedOnVols. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section on YouTube. And, we'll continue to break this down as we get closer and closer to Austin Peay, and the home opener that is Saturday. All right, we got Boogie Bentley talking Vols coming up, segments 2 and 3. That in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you've got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. We all try to take that step in our career by putting our resume online at LinkedIn. Now maybe you have your dream job. Maybe it's a small business and it's something you've worked so hard for, but you need some help. And not just anybody. You need somebody that's smart enough and capable that you trust your product with, but also somebody that you can trust. And over at LinkedIn Jobs, they can find the right people for you with simple tools like screening questions, focusing on the people you want to interview and then ultimately hire. It's by small businesses that rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus its leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Football season every single Thursday right here on Locked On Vols. We get a conversation with Boogie Bentley. Boogie is the host of what they do over there at Talkin Vols, to go live a couple different times a week, videos throughout the day. So go ahead and subscribe to their channel if you would be so kind. Boogie, good day for Tennessee. Season opening win in Nissan Stadium, 49-13. Your overall thoughts on the start to Tennessee season?
Got to be happy, man. Kind of my narrative this week is, look, yeah, we know it's Virginia. We talked about it all week leading up to it. It's Virginia. They're not a very good football team. So Tennessee went out and took care of business. They did what they were supposed to do. How many times under previous coaching staffs has Tennessee gone out against a team like Virginia and it's 31-24 in the fourth quarter and you're thinking, man, can we just get in the end zone one more time just so I feel better about myself as I go through the week? Tennessee started a little slow, but they bounced back, finished strong. The 2 touchdowns right before halftime I thought were big, and then carrying that momentum into the second half. Just dominant performance, I think.
Tennessee ran the ball really well. You talk about the broadcast kept referring to a 40-40-20 split. It was 28 touches, 27 touches, 26 touches, I'm pretty sure, or carries at least, or snap counts. Sorry, let me tell you, snap counts. And so it was very, very even. Now, it's not going to be like that every single week, but Tennessee ran for almost 300 yards, and you got to like the way that Jalen Wright looked. And, of course, Dylan Sampson, 4 total touchdowns. He kind of vultured a couple away, but they all 3 looked really good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that running back room. And Jalen Wright, man, what a stud. I kind of think it's funny. Even Heupel saying, hey, maybe we need to work on his conditioning a little bit. He's out there patting that helmet, wanting to get off. But that's the beautiful thing about having 3 really good running backs. Are they the best running back room in the country? That's what Jalen Wright says, and I think they truly believe it. And that's a big positive, right, coming out of week 1 against Virginia, because we talked about it going into it. If there's one place Tennessee's going to be tested, it's on the offensive line. And I thought they played efficient. Tennessee running for almost 300 yards. You got to be happy. And, yeah, everybody's saying this week it was just Virginia. It was just Virginia. It was just Virginia. But this offensive line was challenged. And I think they answered the call pretty good. Gave up 1 sack. You run the ball for almost 300 yards. You got to be happy with what you saw in week 1. Hopefully you continue to grow, get better, get ready for week 3 in the swamp.
Yeah, speaking of that offensive line, I liked a lot of John Campbell, and I liked a lot of the center position. I thought Ollie Lane and Dane Davis played pretty well.
Yeah, and how much better can this offense be once Cooper Mays is back, right? And then you can slide Ollie Lane to guard. And, I like the words coming from Ollie Lane that Cooper Mays kind of encouraged him, got behind him, told him to be who he is. When you're coming out of the game, a couple of things, and I know we're talking about the offensive line, but it's the same with the secondary. If you're not talking about a guy, you're not mentioning a specific guy. We laugh talking about Andres Carrick and the PFF grades. I heard you guys talking about it on the VolQuest podcast. Hey, we weren't really talking about Andres Carrick coming out of the game, right? It's not like he went out there and got beat up, blown up. So I don't know where that grade came from, but overall, you got to be happy with this offensive line. They answered the call for week 1.
Well, it's funny, man, because, I have a PFF segment, PFF Wednesday, Wednesday. And it's funny. A lot of people don't like PFF, and that's completely fair. Again, I always say it's something, it's not everything. But when you check the PFF grade on Sunday, Andre Carrick's grade was like 47 or 57.2 or whatever. And so, I had that in my mind. He graded out poorly on Pro Football Focus, got ready to sit down and record yesterday for the show, and I'm like, yeah, Andre Carrick, I thought he played okay, but according to Pro Football Focus, it was way down there. And then I'll start looking for him, and I'm like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? His grade changed up to like a 70-something. So, truly, again, Pro Football Focus, it's something, it's not everything, and it seems like Andre Carrick at least wasn't as horrible as what initially thought per Pro Football Focus.
I like Pro Football Focus personally. I think it gives you a gauge, an idea of what to look for when you're doing your rewatch or whatever.
Yeah.
But that makes me question him a little bit more. What happened? How did that change? How do you go from 40 to, what'd you say,
72 overall grade? I'm making sure I have all my tabs right. Overall grade 72.0. That is an above average starter on the grading scale. On Sunday, he was at 57.2.
Maybe they tuned into the Talkin VAWLS Network and they said, hey, if Boogie likes the way Andres Carrick played, we're going to go against Kaner and we're going to ride with Boogie, and we're going to boost his grade up a little bit.
It's probably what the majority of the masses do anyway.
I'm an expert. I know everything about offensive line hand placement.
I'll say this, though, still moving forward. Again, I think he was, to your point, I did not leave Nissan Stadium saying, man, Andre Carrick was awful. I think he was fine. I still don't think that he is Tennessee's left guard. I still don't think that they are sold and ready to roll. Now, we played a lot of snaps. I still think there's a huge question mark at left guard. And maybe it is as simple as Cooper comes back, you slide Ollie down, or maybe Andre Carrick just needs to win it this week. I don't know what it is. Still big-time question mark in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know that you're really going to have any answers, right, until
Yeah.
week 3 in the Swamp. That's when we're going to play big boy football, and I like that matchup. I've talked about it a lot this week, coming out of week 1, and it's the way we are as fans, and I'm trying not to get emotional and overreact. That's my selling point, right? For the fans, by the fans. I am just a fan. I'm nobody special, but when I come on my channel, I always try to keep a level head and be even keel and stick to what I believe, and I've been saying that game in the Swamp is going to be tough. But you got to like the matchup. We talked about it Monday morning on my show. That offensive line for Florida struggled in week 1. How many sacks did I think they gave up? 5 sacks in that game, yeah. I think it was. They struggled. So that's encouraging. I think Tennessee can maybe expose their offensive line in that matchup. But we'll see how this offensive line looks on the other side of the ball going into that game against Florida.
We'll get the defense here in a moment. What's encouraging to me, you win 49-13. You went through a 5-drive spell in the first half where you didn't do anything offensively. The Pro Football Focus grades graded the wide receivers poorly for Tennessee, yet you still threw for over 200 yards. You still won big. You still had a passing touchdown. I mean, Joe Milton wasn't horrible. Still a lot of good signs, but just, I mean, that offense, the passing game was not in sync for the most part. And Tennessee still did what it did. I think there's a lot of room to get better and grow for, the Ramel Keatons, the Brew McCoys, Squirrels, and, of course, Dante Thorntons.
Just seemed like vanilla to me, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't take a lot of shots. Of course, you had the deep ball that Keaton dropped. You had the deep ball to Dante Thornton that got broken up. But overall, man, it just seemed like they were going out there running it down Virginia's throat. It's hard for me to really grade what this passing attack looked like against Virginia because it was so basic. It just didn't seem like typical Josh Heupel going out there scheming guys up. And, the more you establish that run, we all know it. It's not like it's earth-shattering news here that Josh Heupel wants to run the football. The more he shows success running the football, the more Florida's got to worry about, hey, we got to creep somebody down there in the box. Then guess what? That's when Dante Thornton, that's when Squirrel White is going to expose you deep down the field, and that's when Joe Milton can take those shots. I just don't think you had to do that against Virginia, and you're not going to have to do it this Saturday in a glorified scrimmage. How many yards is Tennessee going to run for against Austin Peay? 500? Is that the goal? Is that the target? Is that what we're looking for?
They should, yeah.
You're not going to see the passing game this week either. A lot of quick stuff to the running backs, right? Like you motion them out and you're going a 5-wide look, but you got a running back out there. You're going quick. Jabari Small had a couple. Did Jalen Wright maybe have a couple too? Those quick sideline throws.
Jalen Wright, I believe, Jabari Small, I think, had 3 receptions. Dylan Sampson had 1, and maybe Jalen Wright had 1. The running backs altogether had 5 receptions.
Is that a new little wrinkle that we're going to see in this offense?
I mentioned that. It was 6 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown for the running backs. And we didn't see – I mean, we saw checkdowns of Small a lot with Hooker. Not a lot, but we saw those. But we didn't see – I mean, I feel like we saw more in game 1 with Milton than we saw, in a 5 or 6 game span last year. So maybe so, where Milton could use his legs to extend plays or to, whatever, when the first, second read's gone, you just take off. Maybe Milton will just dump it off. Maybe that's something we say.
Yeah, and that arm strength, right? I mean, we know that's what this staff likes to do, those quick throws to the wide receiver. Yeah. But you got a running back in there and you motion him out and you put him out wide. You get the ball in his hands and then you let those, big physical guys like Brew McCoy, Ramel Keaton go block. The faster you get that ball out to the outside, that's just another thing you have to worry about. Then how much are you focusing on the outside? Joe Milton pump fake that little thing and run that quarterback draw. I thought Joe looked a little quicker coming out of the pocket, man. That run he had, what was it, like 17 yards, I think it was?
Yeah.
I know he's got more top-end speed than acceleration. Maybe slimming down makes him a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say elusive, but he looked quick, man. He looked quicker than he did a year ago.
He looked good, and we'll continue to talk a little Joe Milton here on the other side, and we'll talk Tennessee's defense, and we will look ahead to Austin Peay and everything that presents to us right here on Locked On Vols. But first, I do want to tell you about our friends Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't ever be stressful. Gametime's fast and easy. It's a way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. We're talking sports here, but it's not just sports. Concerts, music, theater, all that good stuff. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guaranteed, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun that you're going to have. If you download the Gametime app, things you can look forward to, flash deals and last-minute tickets. Easy to find and buy tickets for every event in your area. We covered that. Plus, you can see the images of your seats before you buy, so you truly know what you're about to pay for. They got the lowest price guarantee, and they have protection for you. Event cancellation protection, even job loss protection for you. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. I encourage you to download the Gametime app today, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, encourage you to create an account at Gametime by downloading that app. Use the redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We continue on here with this Thursday edition of Locked On Vols final segment. Appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out everydayers. Boogie Bentley of Talkin VAWLS on with us here today, as he is every single Thursday during football season. And we ended the last segment kind of discussing Joe Milton a little bit. And I agree with you. You said I thought he was solid. I do too. I mean, hell, he was co-SEC Offensive Player of the Week. And something I've heard Brent Hubb say 2 or 3 times this week, if Keaton doesn't drop that ball, everybody's feeling a whole lot better. 280 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I mean, you're sniffing 300 there, but still 200 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns. He completed 70% of his passes. There was a sequence in the first half that was not good. We've talked about it. He missed a throw here, made a bad decision here one time, but overall, I thought he was pretty solid as well, but still knowing, boy, Joe was pretty good, and he left some out there. Like, if he has a great game, sky's the limit.
I think it's funny because I think so many of the fans out there grade Joe on 2021, not 2023. Completion percentage, 70%. What more do you want? Like, I even went and looked at the all-time leaders in the NCAA football for completion percentage, and it's around 70%. So Joe completed 70% of his passes on Saturday. What are you grading him on? Are you grading him on Saturday, or are you grading him on how he played against Bowling Green 2 years ago? All we can do is look at Joe now, and for the most part, I thought he looked good. He's efficient. He had the one bad drive there with Tennessee, I think they ran the ball a couple of times, then he had 3 pretty bad throws. The throw to Keaton was on the money, and Hubbs is spot on. If that's a touchdown, or even if it's not, if it's a 60, 70-yard gain, whatever it is, people are talking differently, and it kind of makes
real quick. I don't mean to butt in here and cut you off, but yeah, that's what I did. I can do whatever.
Hey, you're the host. You do whatever you want.
Isn't it beautiful though? You snap the ball at the 20. Okay, you're 20. He drops back about 5 yards. He's at Tennessee's 15 on the left hash, just effortlessly. Okay,
Yeah.
So everybody say it with me. Effortlessly. Hold on. Effortlessly. There you go.
Oh,
Just effortlessly. Just throws the football down the field to the right hash, opposing 20, like it's easy money. And of course, Keaton drops it. He's a good receiver, as Brew McCoy said. He's going to make that catch 10 times out of 10. But my goodness, that was such a gorgeous, gorgeous football throw. And again, like in real time, I didn't really notice it, but I went back and watched it. I'm like, man, he's at the 15, throws it to the 20, just nonchalantly.
But we want to talk about the inaccurate throws, right?
Yeah.
And that was on a dime. That was dropped perfectly into the bucket. All you got to do is catch it. And I hate that happened, because I feel like so many people are talking about that play. And it's not that people are hating on Keaton, but it's ifs, ands, and buts, right? You complete that, all of a sudden it's a different story. But look at that throw. Look at the throw to Brew McCoy that, barely out of bounds, almost gets a foot down. That's an NFL throw. That's a big boy throw. That was right where it needed to be. I thought he looked great, man. Not great, good, efficient. And that's all he has to be. If you're going to go out and run the football for 300 yards, you're going to go out and play defense like Tennessee played defense on Saturday. Joe doesn't have to go out there and throw for 300 yards. He can throw for 200. But it makes me laugh because the narrative from the fan base, Joe wasn't good enough. Why? 70% is not good enough. And the touchdowns. He had 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. Dylan Sampson had 4 touchdowns, and everybody's ready to pin him down for a Heisman Trophy because Jalen Wright was the better running back on Saturday. But everybody's celebrating Dylan Sampson because he's the fantasy guy that got in the end zone and lets you win your championship belt that you get to wear around on the golf course next year. But it's just funny to me, the different storylines and narratives that come out of it. I thought Joe looked good. I think Joe just needs to be Joe, and Tennessee needs to run the ball and play defense, and we're going to be just fine for 2023. So much so that I'm ready to start changing my prediction. Man, my emotions are taking over. Tennessee,
Woo!
Feels like 98, baby. Not really, but I'm liking that game in the swamp a whole lot more after week 1 played out.
Well, me, I do too. And week 1, Florida killed itself. Now, granted, Utah beat them. Utah had a lot of guys out as well. Utah beat them. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I mean, Florida, procedural penalties, 3rd, 4th down mistakes. Of course, the huge penalty on special teams that allowed them to go down there and score. I just feel like Florida is not going to be – I don't think Florida's going to be good. I don't think Florida's going to be looking as bad as they did Thursday night for the entire season. It was week 1, and Florida did a whole lot to lose that game on its own. But again, credit Utah. I think Tennessee should go down there and wax them. I do. I'm with you. I think Tennessee should win that game, and nothing's going to change my mind between now and even after Saturday's game and heading down to the Swamp next week. You brought up that defense. Love defense, but everybody's got to talk sexy, and that's offense. James Pierce, Tyler Barron, SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week, and I'm not taking anything away from him, trust me, but you got such a rush upfield that when you're in that Rabbits package and Tyler Barron slides inside, it forces the quarterback up right into his arms. I mean, he just cleaned up, and that was fun to see repeatedly on Saturday. Aaron Beasley, Keenan Pili all over the place. Rotation in the back end, still not as much at safety, but man, I really liked what I saw from defense the other day, and we're going to see a whole lot more of that on Saturday.
And again, it's always the wild card, right? Well, it's Virginia. Yeah, it is Virginia, but Tennessee still looked good. They looked dominant, man. They played on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage all night long. Even when they didn't get home, man, they were in the backfield. Roman Harrison's a guy that we're really not talking a whole lot about. He lived in the backfield all day long on Saturday. Just so many guys in Rodney Garner's rotation that are playing good football through week 1. You hope you continue to see it on Saturday in the glorified scrimmage. And then that's where I think you take over the Swamp, because I get it. Yeah, having 2 guys out there with the same number on, the procedural, all that type of stuff, they struggled to run the football. They did. You know, Trevor Etienne, that's all we're hearing about, averaged 3.5 yards a carry. And Tennessee under Rodney Garner's always been really good against the run. And I think if you can make Florida one-dimensional and then you're able to get after the quarterback, and I think this defensive line is going to get after the quarterback. We saw it. We saw that they were getting home with just 4, and that's something we have beat into the ground for 2 years. When is this Rodney Garner defensive line going to get after it with just 4 guys? And then you've upgraded your linebackers. Aaron Beasley continues to develop and get better every single week he plays football. And then Keenan Pili, what a great addition. But what about Elijah Herring? Elijah Herring looked good on Saturday too, led this football team in tackles. We'll see about Arion Carter. I think he's got to continue to grow as a freshman. I hope we see a whole lot of him on Saturday. Hope we see a whole lot of young guys on Saturday. When are they going to put Nico out there? Get him out there. Let him play, man. I know the Nico chance, it's ridiculous, it's silly, but as a football team, you got get him ready. Nico needs to be ready, and you got to have that live fire, live bullets, live ammunition, right? And that's what I want to see. I want to see a whole lot of Nico. I want to see some Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, Cam Selden. I want to see a bunch of young guys on Saturday.
Give me some predictions. I was about to say, what do you want to see on Saturday against Austin Peay, but you led me right there to it. So give me some predictions. It doesn't have to be score predictions or whatever, but maybe player predictions. We see Nico in the the start of the second half. That's what I would love to see. Probably won't see that, but I hope we get to see Nico running with the ones a little bit. I think that'd be good to see. I want to see a lot of Cam Selden. I think on the Rocky Top rewind or the Rocky Top roundtable, we got too many of those. Yesterday, I said that I think Cam Selden, finds the end zone. He'll score his first touchdown in a Tennessee uniform. I think that's a pretty safe bet, right? I mean, because you're going to be running the football and going to be winning big. What are some predictions for you in this Tennessee game coming up on Saturday?
Just domination. Well, I don't even know what the line is. Have they even put out a betting line? Like, is it going to be so bad that there's not even a betting line?
So far, I still can't find one, literally. So, I mean, Tennessee should win by 50, and that's no joke.
Yeah, end it early, man. End it early. And I want to see a deep shot, right? Let's connect on one of those deep shots. And I know they're not going to take many. They're going to run the football. But I'd like to see them connect on one, whether it's to Ramel Keaton. Let's go deep to Ramel Keaton early. Let him, say, hey, I can play some football. You go back to last year, the catch he had against Florida. What a big moment that was. That's not Ramel Keaton. That drop is not Ramel Keaton. It's not the type of player that he is. Let's go deep to Ramel Keaton. Let's get the young guys in. I'm with you, man. I want to see Cam Selden. Let's use Cam Selden like we saw Jabari Small out wide and get him the football and let him make plays. We know he can do that. I want to see more McAllen Castles early. Is that weird? Like, I thought Jacob Warren looked good. I liked his touchdown pass, man. Just a picture perfect throw from Joe Milton. I want to see some McAllen Castles. I've been impressed with his athleticism. I guess when he came in, I thought, okay, big physical dude. They're going to use him in the run game. And then you start hearing in camp how athletic he is, how good he is catching the football. I like the way he looked running around against Virginia. Let me see some more of him on Saturday. But then just a whole lot of young guys is what I want to see. Domination. And let's have the same conversations we're having now next week. And then we'll finally see some real football against Florida in the Swamp.
Speaking of real football, who wins, Alabama or Texas?
Is Texas favored in that game?
I think so. Let me pull it up. I'll pull it up because that game will actually have a line.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to go with an unpopular opinion, and I'm going to say Alabama wins. I think Milroe is a lot better than people give him credit for. I think everybody looks back at Bryce and what a special, talented player that he was. I think Milroe is going to be dangerous. I think if he is, you said it last week, if he is good enough throwing the football, what he does athletically with his legs, man, it makes it difficult. We saw it with Hendon. When you have that type of athleticism and you can run the football, it's tough to stop, man. And I think that Milroe brings that to the table. Give me Alabama. What's the spread? Texas by 3?
Yeah, I for some reason I was thinking that game was in Austin, but no, it's in Tuscaloosa. They played there last year, so it's in Alabama. Alabama's a touchdown favorite.
Oh,
so.
Wow. I thought Texas was the favorite. Maybe that's because I'm surrounded by so many fans that think Alabama's going to go lose that game. Yeah.
I thought that the spread was, I thought it was like 4. I'm surprised that it's 7, but of course it can move a little bit. But it's going to be at home, what Alabama did last week and what Milroe did. He's just an animal, man. He's a great athlete, never denying that. But, I'll be intrigued to see what happens when Alabama's got to throw in the second half. Your run game shut down or you're playing from behind or something. I'll be intrigued because, there's a reason why there was a quarterback controversy in the quarterback competition.
Sure.
Milroe's not the best passer. And, Tyler Buckner really isn't either. And who knows about Ty Simpson? We haven't seen him play. So we'll be interested to see. Boogie, appreciate it as always, man. Good stuff every Thursday right here on Locked On Vols. What do you guys got coming up with Talkin VAWLS this week?
Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., myself, Coach Jay, coaches little high school football out in California, actually has been around Bryce Young and also Nico, that coaching tree that coached those guys. Coach Jay's got a great relationship with them. He brings a different dynamic to our channel. We preach for the fans, by the fans, not being experts or insiders. Coach Jay brings a little something special each week. So come tune in 10 a.m. tomorrow. Saturday, we'll do a tailgate show an hour before kickoff. That's where the audience gets to come on and drive the show. And then we'll be live immediately following the game as well. Every single week, hour before kick and immediately following the game.
Boogie, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much.
Always good time, man.
All right, that is Boogie Bentley, Talkin VAWLS. Go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel if you haven't already. They just surpassed 22,000. Gosh, man, they are climbing just like we are at Locked On Vols. Hey, we celebrated 8,000 on YouTube. Literally, it was like first of last week. We're already over the halfway point to 9,000. It's football season, and I can't do it without you. Thank you guys so much for that. All right, this will do it for your edition of a Thursday Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys for being here. We'll get into our complete preview of Austin Peay. I'll tell you everything you need to know about the Austin Peay Govs heading into the home opener that'll be on Friday's Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys. That game's going to be at 5 o'clock, streamed on the SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. It's going to be that one game of the year where it's streamed and it's not on television. And you know where to find us. We will recap everything. Probably coming on a Sunday, Locked On Vols. We'll probably try to do a bonus episode coming out of the home opener. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you back again tomorrow. This is Locked On Vols.